reconnections in Latvia, conversion through hymn singing in Ghana, and an urban centre of influence in Jaipur, India. All this and much more coming up next. Hello and welcome to Mission 360. I'm Gary Krause. Today's program is coming to you from the city of Jaipur in India, and behind me you can see one of the most famous buildings in this city. And it's an incredible building that's made out of sandstone, and you can see mainly pink sandstone. And it was built by the grandson of the founder of this city. And it has something like 953 windows, and that's why it's named the Palace of the Winds. Well, on today's program, we're going to learn more about mission in this region. We're going to travel to Latvia, we're going to travel to Ghana. But first up, let's learn about when God stopped the rain in Poland.
The rain was falling heavily when 6-year-old Julia arrived at the Seventh-day Adventist preschool in Poland. Children took off their wet coats as they walked into the room. It was time to begin the day with worship. Julia sat at her desk and waited for the teacher to speak. She knew what the teacher was going to ask, and she was ready to answer. When the 10 or so children were seated and quiet, the teacher asked the question that Julia was waiting to hear. "Good morning, children," the teacher said. "Who has something to thank God for today? Who has something that they want to ask God for today?" Julia's arm shot up. "Yes, Julia?" the teacher asked. "I want to ask God to stop the rain," Julia said. "I want to go outside." The teacher smiled. She knew that Julia wasn't the only child who wanted to go outside. All the children came to preschool looking a little sad about the rainy weather because they looked forward to going outside every day. At Julia's preschool, the children don't only go outside for recess, they also go outside to learn about God. Every day, the teachers take the children outside to explore God's nature in the fields and forest around the preschool. They play and eat outside. Sometimes, Julia climbs trees with her little brother. Other times, they put slices of bread on sticks and hold them over an outdoor fire. Julia likes eating yummy, crunchy toast that she made herself. The teacher looked at Julia and the other children in the classroom, and then she looked out the window. The rain seemed to be falling even more heavily than before. It was supposed to rain all day. But she was pleased that Julia wanted to ask God for help. Julia's parents didn't pray at home. Julia had only learned to pray when she came to the Adventist preschool. "Of course, we can pray for God to stop the rain," the teacher said. "It would be nice to go outside today." After all the children had a chance to give their thanks and requests to God, the teacher prayed. "Dear God, please give us a few hours without rain so we can go outside." 9 o'clock arrived. It was the time the children usually went outside. Julia looked out the window. The rain had stopped. With great joy, Julia and the other children put on their coats and ran outside. The grass was wet, the trees were wet, but there was no rain falling from the sky. They could learn about God in nature. When lunchtime arrived, the teacher called the children to come inside to eat. The children filed into the cafeteria, which they shared with bigger kids from the elementary school. As they began to eat, the rain started to fall heavily again. Julia was filled with awe about the power of God. He had heard her prayer request, and he had answered it in a wonderful way. "Wow, teacher," she said. "God answered our prayer. It wasn't raining when we went outside. It started to rain when we came inside. God is incredible." Thank you for your Sabbath School mission offerings that help church schools around the world teach children such as Julia about the wonderful love of God.
My guest is Lavanya, who is the manager of a Life Hope Centre right here in Jaipur, India. Lavanya, thank you so much for joining me. And this centre, a lifestyle centre for the community, is just amazing. I had a tour yesterday. Describe for me the sorts of things that you do here.
Sure. This is a lifestyle centre, as you mentioned, and we translated to an Indian version called Jeevan Asha Kendra.
Okay.
So, which is easy for us to reach out to the communities. They understand what we do. We have a naturopathy doctor, we have lifestyle coaches, and we have a therapist. So, for reaching out to the community, we regularly conduct health camps, which are free in the for the community. And we see here people come for exercise every day, and it's very hard for them to know about the health. So, we conduct the health camps to understand what level they are in, and this helps us to build a relationship with them.
Wonderful. Now, I'm guessing you understand some of the needs in the community. What sort of health problems are people facing in this area?
So, in India, mostly people have diabetes, hypertension, and obesity and PCOD is the major diseases which the people suffer from. And most of them believe that these are the lifelong diseases, they need to take medicine for lifelong. But we approach them with a new system called like naturopathy, and which is called on a plant-based diet, so that they can get rid by making small lifestyle changes like exercise, diet, and for that we follow the celebrations model.
Wonderful. So celebrations is up on the wall here. It's got all the good things: choices, exercise, liquid, environment, belief, rest. Wonderful things. Now, how do people hear about this centre?
So in order to do that, like we conduct a free health camps and in the parks, as I mentioned earlier, and we go and distributing the flyers around.
Okay, so just a second, let me understand this. So you have the physical centre here, but you actually take the centre into the parks where people are as well.
Yes, in the parks we do the basic vital tests like the height, weight, BMI, and blood sugar and blood pressure. So with that we have our doctor consulting there, so which makes people understand what their health condition is there. And after that we follow up, we come back from the health camp and we call them, we follow up with them. So our therapists, they call them, they tell them like what issues they're having and how they can get rid of it, and we invite them to come to the center.
Oh, wonderful.
So through that they get healed. And I have a success story to share with you.
Yes.
So we have a client who came to one of our health camp, and she came to the treatment, and when she came she was 106 kilos weight, and she was having a thyroid problem. And she took a 90 days program, and by 90 days her thyroid level was normal, and within 1 month she reduced nearly 6 kilos, and by the end of 90 days she reduced 11 kilos, and her name is Poonam Raj Shingarania.
What a wonderful thing. I bet she's happy.
Yeah, she's happy. And her son was very happy to see that her mother's condition went well, and she has recommended her daughter-in-law. Now she's recommending her daughter to come and visit the center.
So by word of mouth, people learn about what the center offers.
Yes, because in India, most of the people want it immediate healing, and like anywhere across the world, they want instant
overnight.
Healing.
Give me a pill. Give me a pill to swallow.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
So, but the challenging is there to make them understand. So we don't only do the vitals, but we educate the people. So when they come with some condition, we try to identify what is the root cause of it. So we address the root cause with the treatments. At the same time, we give them health education.
Now, are your services free, or do people pay for the services?
So the people who come here, we charge them, and we give them different discounts.
Right.
So to attract them, and not only attract them, but like to make them feel comfortable, because our main goal is to reach out to the higher classes. Mm-hmm. But we don't know like who walks in, so that we make it more discounted rates so that people feel comfortable lesser than what they pay outside.
Wonderful. So what is the most rewarding thing for you being the manager of this center? What makes you happy working here?
The thing what makes me happy is to interact with the people.
Yes.
And to serve the community. See, like as you all know, like the government take care of the health of the people around, but we are taking extra mile to educate them, to go to their houses, to go to their places where we can teach them, and by that not only they get benefited, but the whole family get benefited.
Yes. And so what you offer here is a holistic package, not
Yes.
just the physical, but also the spiritual and the mental, and it's a holistic thing that maybe they don't normally get from a doctor.
Yes, you all know like the definition of World Health Organization about the health. So it's on treating mental, physical, and emotional and spiritual aspect.
Yes.
So when we treat all, they become a person who is free from disease.
Wonderful. So how many people do you have working here now?
We are having around 7 people, and
Yes.
2 of them joined recently.
Wonderful. Now, we're in Jaipur. This is a large city, right?
Yes.
So how are people coming from all over the city or just in this neighborhood? Where are they coming from?
There are people who mostly come from the neighborhood,
Yes.
and through, as you said, like through word of mouth, the people come from other places.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing with us today about this exciting project, and God bless you in your work.
Thank you, Gary.
Friends at home, what a wonderful initiative this is. This is an urban center of influence that is impacting the community, meeting needs, and showing the love of God in very practical ways. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Jaipur, and behind me you can see the Amber Fort, or the Amber Palace as it's known. And if you look closely up the top there, you can see the flag, which traditionally when it's raised, you would know that the king was in residence. Well, this was built way back in the 1590s, and it's just one of many historic buildings all around and in Jaipur. Well, next up, we travel to Ghana.
Hello, welcome back to Mission 360 TV. Today we have a special guest in a special place, my friend Obed, and I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. Tell us where we are now and what you do.
Okay, so as you said, my name is Obed Kofi Pabi, and this is the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Ghana, the Southern Ghana Union Conference, and I'm the administrative secretary of the union.
Thank you for all of your work that you guys do here.
You're welcome.
Now, we're here to tell many stories, but one, I heard from many people that you have a very interesting testimony and something that can allow us to learn how to better witness to people that we meet who are not Adventists, who may not even be Christian. Can you tell us a little bit about your story?
Yes, so as you said, my story started when I was young, when I wanted to enter into the senior high school. I had a school which wasn't a boarding house. It wasn't a boarding school. So I had to go and come home every day. But unfortunately, where the school was and where my house was very far. And so it was a big problem for my parents, who were non-Adventists, my stepfather and my mom. My stepfather was a pastor in a different denomination.
I see.
Yes, so we agreed that I was going to start my first year in the school, and then in the second year, we'll find a better place where I can get a boarding facility, and then I can stay in the school without coming home and going back to school every day.
That sounds very inconvenient.
Yes. And so I completed the first year, and in the second year, we were looking for the school. Wherever we went, there were challenges. And so it was at that moment where somebody introduced my parents to the Seventh-day Adventist school here in Ghana, one of them. It's called SDA Senior High School. It's in Swedro, a town in Ghana. And my parents were not ready to take me there. The reason was simple, because they feared when I go and come back, I'll be an Adventist. They didn't want to lose me.
So they almost knew that it was a powerful message.
Exactly. So they didn't allow me to go to the school. By God being so good, we had a different school, but that was a Muslim school. So that is where I eventually ended up. So I got there, started my second year in the Muslim school, continued to the final year. In the Muslim school, we were not allowed to worship in different denominations. We were all grouped, all Christians were grouped to worship on Sundays. So that was how we were worshiping on campus, in the school campuses. Until the final year. During the final year, the first year, second year, and third year students had gone home. And so it was left with only the final year student preparing to write our exam. And so the church services were not effective because the continuing students were not around. So church service virtually collapsed. So one Saturday I was in the class learning and I saw 3 friends moving out of campus to go to church. So I asked them whether I can join them because it's been a long time I worshipped because the Scripture Union meetings had collapsed. And they said, why not? I could join them. So I joined them and then we went to a nearby church within the town. And it was during the church service that they invited these 3 friends of mine who were singers. They were singing in the choir to come and give us a special song. And they sang one of our hymns, Until Then. And the way they sang it, it was my first time hearing music being sung in harmony.
Oh.
Yes, so I fell in love with the song, the lyrics of the song. And when we came back from worship, I asked them to teach me the song, and they taught me the song and other Seventh-day Adventist song. And that was the starting of my love for the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Wow, so that was the beginning, your first interaction with it.
Exactly.
So how did you go from there, just hearing a song with them and realizing the passion, to now working for the Adventist Church?
Yeah, so after school, after my final year, we wrote the final year exams and I came back home. It was still difficult for me to tell my parents I want to join the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Very difficult, especially when your stepfather is a pastor. And so what I was doing was that on Wednesdays, the local church in my town meet on Wednesday evenings to have a Wednesday worship. And so I'll just tell my parents, my mother, who sells at the roadside, that I want to visit the washroom. And then I'll use that period to go and worship with the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And then I'll come back. Sometimes she asks, why do you go and spend a whole hour in the washroom? She didn't know at the time what was going on until sometime where she realized that when I tell her I was going to the washroom, I joined the church. But she didn't have any issue about me joining the church, but it was with my stepfather who was not too pleased for me to join the church.
Right.
Yes. But God being so good, that same year, I had the opportunity to continue my studies in the University of Ghana. And that's where I decided to finally get baptized into the church, because at the school, my parents were not there and I was living alone. And so I eventually got baptized into the church. So after school, because of the love I have for the church and the work of God, I decided to go into ministry, not as a pastor, but to help the church work. So I entered as a volunteer in one of the conferences to work for them as a young volunteer from school. I was working from there until 2021, where the union decided to call me to come to the headquarters of the church to be the administrative secretary. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes.
That's a great story.
Yes.
And we don't have a ton of time left, but how does coming from there and you being influenced by the church and feeling God just through a couple of friends, through a song, how does that change how you can help show others how to relate to people outside of the church who don't believe in just small ways?
Yes. So what has changed about me, what I've learned from my experience, is that personal evangelism is very important. Personal evangelism is very important. The way you relate to others at a personal level is very important. God uses ordinary moments and ordinary methods to change people. And so whenever we have the opportunity to speak to others, to relate to others, we should consider whatever we do with them as a way of evangelizing, because that is what God wants us to do.
That's excellent.
Personal evangelism. God is really interested in that.
So lastly, can you sing any of that song for us?
Yes, so I will do what to sing the first stanza. Until then, it says, my heart can sing when I pause to remember, a heartache, yeah, is but a stepping stone along the trail that winding always upwards. This troubled world is not my final home. But until then, my heart will go on singing. Until then, with joy I'll carry on. Until that day, my eyes behold the city. Until that day, God calls me home. My voice is not good.
No.
But I like the song so much.
That's
and whenever
beautiful.
I hear any congregation sing the song, it reminds me of how I joined the church.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing with us. It's
You're
clear to
welcome.
see the passion.
You're welcome.
And viewers at home, it's a powerful story, the way, but also the method. That just going with friends to hear a song brought part of the message to him. And that it helps us understand the little things that we can do with our friends to show them who Jesus truly is. Thank you for watching, and enjoy more mission stories and with Gary right after this.
Behind me in the middle of the lake, you can see the Jal Mahal Palace. It was originally constructed in 1699. It's 5 stories high, and when the lake is full, 4 stories are underwater. So it's advisable, I guess, to keep the windows and doors tightly closed. Next up, we travel to Latvia and to learn about Camporee connections.
Have you ever met someone and really hit it off? The two of you had so many things in common that you immediately felt comfortable with each other? That's what happened to Anna. She immediately hit it off with Amelia when they met at a music school in Latvia. The two girls were almost the same age. Anna was 10 years old and Amelia was 11. They both liked music. That was why they were going to music school. Both girls were learning to play the piano. But it turned out that they both liked more than just playing the piano. Anna liked dogs, and Amelia liked dogs. Anna liked gymnastics, and Amelia liked gymnastics. The two girls had many common interests, and they quickly became good friends. Now it so happened that Anna liked Pathfinders. Amelia, however, didn't know anything about Pathfinders. Anna had recently joined Pathfinders when she turned 10. She enjoyed singing, studying the Bible, and earning honor badges with other Pathfinders. She especially liked Pathfinder campouts. So when all the Pathfinders and adventurers in Latvia prepared for a camporee, Anna invited Amelia to go too. Amelia liked the camporee very much. She liked sleeping in a tent for a whole week. She liked singing and talking and participating in Bible skits every evening with 300 other children from the 23 Pathfinder and Adventurer clubs in Latvia. Amelia especially liked sitting in front of the campfire. After evening worship, all the children built campfires with their clubs. Then the children sat around the flames and listened to mission stories. Amelia loved the mission stories. After the camporee, Amelia liked Pathfinders just like Anna. Anna and Amelia became even closer friends. Then Anna invited Amelia to come to her house. The two girls began to get together there to study the Bible every Sunday with other children. In a year, the children managed to read through the entire book of Ruth and 1 Kings. Anna also invited Amelia to go to church with her on Sabbath. In church, the two girls played the piano together for special music. Anna especially liked playing a duet about Jesus being the sunbeam of the world. Anna and Amelia are looking forward to the next Pathfinder camporee. The Pathfinders are preparing a skit about Tabitha, the 12-year-old girl whom Jesus raised from the dead. Amelia will narrate the skit. She has a 10-year-old brother who also will go to the camporee. This will be his first. Yes, Anna and Amelia have a lot in common. They like the piano, dogs, gymnastics, Pathfinders, camporees, the Bible, and playing special music. But now they have something even more important in common. They both love Jesus. I love Jesus, and I love reading the Bible, Anna says. I am trying to share this truth with others.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for today's program. And I hope that you've been inspired and challenged by our 360-degree view of mission around the world. We've traveled to different countries, different cultures, different worldviews. The same gospel message is being preached, but obviously in different ways, in different contexts to make it meaningful and understandable. I want to thank you so much for all that you do to help support Adventist mission around the world. Thank you for your continuing prayers. Thank you for your donations to Global Mission and your mission offerings. And thank you for your personal involvement. Well, for Adventist Mission, I'm Gary Krause, and I hope that you can join me next time right here on Mission 360.